Welcome back to the Dear Katie podcast. This is Katie Koestner. I am the primary host of the Dear Katie podcast, and we are so delighted to have you take this journey with us on our weekly podcast episodes. I just want to remind everyone to do great self-care. Thriving is part of the purpose of this podcast, and we definitely want you to take a break at any time. Warm bath, fresh air, walk a dog, have a bite of chocolate, whatever you need to do good care for yourself. Just as a reintroduction, if you're not familiar with me, I am the woman who was on the cover of Time magazine at age 18 as the first in history to speak out nationally and publicly as the victim of date rape. And HBO made a film about me, and I went on to become the executive director of the Take Back the Night Foundation. We are the oldest, largest global movement on sexual violence in all forms for all people in the world. So we encourage you to visit our website for lots more information. So I'm going to turn it over to our host and our guest for today. Hi, everybody. It is Katie Koestner, and this is the Dear Katie podcast. We are delighted to have all of our listeners back again. Today's show is going to be fantastic, as I think all of them are. And we have Gretchen Swank with us today, who has held many different roles and been in and around lots of powerful women, is one herself, and also has a lot of expertise in child sexual abuse. And really, I can't wait for you to meet her. So I'll stop at that. But I always like to remind our listeners that the issues we talk about can always be difficult. They can trigger you. They can be just where you need to take a pause, take a break. And luckily, that is all possible. So please do a lot of good self-care. Come back to the episode if you need to. Remember, there are tons of resources on the takebackthe.com website. And also know how much we want to support you. We just are opening our brand new Katie Collective shop with tons of empowering ways to wear your truth, wear your healing, and heal through some of the different modalities of sensory expansion. And now I think with Gretchen's interview, we're going to learn a little bit about some other ways to become strong and heal as well. So welcome, Gretchen Swank. Thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I think you grew up in central Pennsylvania. Is that true?
Yes, it is. I've always been an outdoor person. I was raised sailing in a sailing club, and my family and I camped, and I really found healing in nature as a child, and that was my place I went to relax and to restore, to connect to that life force energy before I even knew what Reiki or anything else was. And when I found myself, when I was doing these really difficult investigations with these children who were traumatized and working in such a difficult environment myself, dealing with these investigations over and over and over again, it was building up within myself. So managing the self-care and yoga and Reiki was really helpful.
What is your wilderness center all about?
So I opened my own wilderness survival school. I teach a lot of fire crafting, shelter building, positive mental attitude, wild crafting, herb, picking, foraging for wild, priorities when you're stuck in a wilderness situation, some bush crafting. So really,
describe what someone who comes to your camp, what they would do. Do they stay for 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 nights? Do they come with just the skin on their back? Do they, do they bring any food? Do you tell them not to bring their cell phones, no sticker bars? Like, what happens?
The most popular class I teach is my weekend basic class. So they can bring a tent and bring, camp food, and that can be easily cooked over a fire. And they can bring their phones and stuff for that one. I want people to really enjoy themselves for that experience and just kind of relax into it while I teach them the basics of what they need. That was really for, building people's confidence for being out there. Wilderness survival skills are really empowering, especially for survival victims of sexual abuse and
Do you have
especially for survivors of sexual abuse.
who's in a group with you?
I like
Encourage.
smaller groups, and I especially teach market my classes to women and children.
Mm-hmm.
So my women's basic wilderness survival is my most popular class, and I like to have a smaller group of women between 3 and 5 and make it like a bonding experience and
so
really connect.
So let's just do it step by step. So they sign up for Gretchen's Wilderness Camp Experience, and they're so excited, and they're allowed to bring some stuff they can cook on a grill and maybe their cell phone just for comfort for level 1, intro level with Gretchen. They show up, and they're going to be gone how many nights?
Just one night.
One night?
Saturday morning.
They only go for one night? Okay,
just one night.
All right, and is this year long? Because you're in Pennsylvania. It gets like 32, sometimes 0 degrees at night. What is it, January or?
I typically teach April through November. So it depends on what months they come. Some of them can get really cold.
I know.
My advanced courses are usually the 4-day, 3 nights that are later in April, or later in.
I want to know how we learn to forage and cook our own food. Do you have that one? Like you get no food. You just, if you can't grab it off a tree, pick it out of the ground or shoot it. You don't have any guns on the trips, right? You're not shooting things. Are you catching fish?
No. So
are you trapping any animals? This is like so interesting.
In the basic, you're looking at your basics for survival and your priorities. So you're trying to just build your confidence to be able to go out. So if you get lost, you want to be able to get rescued within that 72-hour window. So your food's a small priority there because you can really go 30 days without food and be okay before your body starts to shut down. Mm-hmm. So really 3 weeks, but up to 30 days before you're in real danger. So food's a low priority there. But in my advanced class, which is a 4-day, 3-night, where you build your own shelter and you sleep in it. You don't bring your own tent. You build your shelter, you sleep in it for 3 nights. That's typically in colder weather. And,
how do you build your own shelter?
Well, I teach natural shelter building, and I also teach a technique in which like you would carry your own painter's tarp, some paracord, and so I teach you how to build a shelter in the basic class out of that. So that was what you'd sleep in the advanced class. So one would see how important it is to be prepared with a little kit in your backpack just in case something goes wrong, because it's really easy to build and throw up and to keep you a lot warmer than a natural shelter. Mm-hmm. So that's what you sleep in a 4-night. That's where I teach foraging. If you want to learn, since I'm an herbalist, I do teach foraging, but I'm trying to be careful there because foraging can be kind of dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm always very careful in teaching that course. But bug eating is what I teach them if they're going to be looking for food to eat, because just to sustain yourself quick is some bugs. Otherwise,
what kind of bugs? Like ants? Like anything?
Ants are a great source of protein because bugs are usually pretty abundant most times of the year, other than the really cold winter months. Most times of the year you can find some bugs to eat. The ones you don't want to eat are the ones that are slow and brightly colored, because those are the ones that don't need to be fast or camouflage themselves because they're poisonous. And you don't want to eat spiders, anything with 8 legs or more, or a hair on it, because it'll get caught in your throat. But bug eating is, if you're stuck and you really are hungry, that's a really quick, efficient way to get some protein. It's not much, but at least it's protein. But now I could teach some bow hunting skills and stuff, but I don't teach that because I haven't really got into that extent of teaching people that stuff. Maybe someday, I don't know. But for now, I'm just really want to get the basics out to people so they can really feel empowered to go out and do the things they want to do in life, not let fear hold them back.
I love that, Gretchen. I love that. I'm trying to think of one more. You painted a brilliant picture the last few minutes about wilderness survival. I have one final question about it, because you cater to women and children, especially when women leave your experience. Especially, I like the advanced one. The one night seems a little like we can all take anything for 24 hours, right? So for our listeners, I'm like, let's dig deep and go heal. What happens? The longer ones are 4 nights or 5?
The longer courses are 4 days, 3 nights.
Oh, 3 nights. Okay. That's still, like, maybe you should push it, Gretchen. I'm serious. Like, when you do something, even 3 days, I'm like, I can do almost anything for 3 days. I feel like when you start to have deprivation, it's like, oh my God, it will be a whole week or 5 days. I'm fully committed. And I know that's also a luxury when we can get out of town for that long. So I'm just thinking for our listeners, if they're going to up their stamina game, I like the idea that, maybe there's a way to, try hard and then and dig deep. So tell us the final part where someone came out of the experience and what they said to you about their healing or how they felt empowered as the result. Like, let's close with that today.
Well, I've had a few participants who had some really powerful experiences at my school. Trying to think of just one. Probably I had one student that just really pops into my mind. She was really having a lot of anxiety, and she left all of her anxiety medication at home and didn't bring any of it with her.
Oh no.
And she had a major panic attack in the evening right before dinner and right before we were all going to cook over the fire, and she didn't know if she wanted to stay. And I took her for a walk on the trail while everyone else was preparing, tending to the fire. And of course we came across a snake, and that sent her way over the edge. And I just kind of backed her up, and she's like, I want to go home. And she started crying. And I just said, I'm not going to let you go home right now. What I want you to do right now is just stand here and just look at the snake and realize that it's just going to go about its business. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to hurt us, and I just want you to, I put my arm around her and stood there, and we watched it and went out and continued about its way. And I said, then I want you to help me carry the food back to camp. And when we were carrying something back to camp, that's the whole reason for the walk, was having her go with me to calm down and to help me carry something. And we carried the food or whatever we were going to get back to camp. And by the time we got back there, she was so excited. And I said, by the time we get back there, if you want to go home, I'll walk you back to the trailhead, and I'll have my husband come pick you up and drive you back into town. And by the time we got back to camp, she was so excited that she stuck it out, that she stayed and watched that snake about its business. And she stayed the whole night, and she said she was scared. She didn't sleep very well, but in the morning she said it was the best experience. And she was, the rest of the class the next day, she was really engaged for. She was really there for. She was really present for it. And then she volunteered to come up and help me with camp maintenance and all kinds of stuff. So that really helped her. And then and it helped her through an abusive relationship that she said in the end she was struggling with. A really abusive relationship is where a lot of her anxiety was really coming from, and pushing through that and staying all night really showed her own personal strength.
Wow, Gretchen, that's so powerful. And thank you so much for creating that environment where she could expand and breathe and just sit for a moment outside of her abuse. That's so powerful. That's what I was hoping to hear from you. Learn more about that for our survivors, because that's incredible. It's getting outside our comfort zone. But I think the other thing I heard you say is you stood by her. And maybe she felt so alone and so untrusting of others. And you were the one who showed her trust is possible. What do you think, Gretchen?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a huge piece for survivors of abuse of any sort. And I saw it time and time again when I was a trooper doing those investigations. Sometimes I think we touched on this in the beginning with, the way the court system is and uh, how difficult these cases are. Sometimes the win is just having someone by you that believes you, that's in a quote unquote position of power, someone in the police force, somebody, an advocate of some agency that listened to your story and believed you and took you forward to try for justice. Sometimes that's the most important aspect of any work that we
Yeah,
could possibly do.
for sure, Gretchen. Well, it's been such a delight and interesting interview. You have worn so many various hats, and I still don't think I nearly know enough about guilds and your faith, but it's to be discovered and to be learned. And I think you taught our listeners like a lot of things in the interview about your own journey and navigating sexual harassment as a female in a like 80% or more male dominated profession in law enforcement. Your choice to go into helping abuse victims and getting that training and how to do those investigations. You've served so many. That was like 20 years of your life. And then the Reiki and the healing. I think I love most of all hearing about your wilderness. And I don't know if you could get any of us to eat some bugs, but I bet if you put us under duress, and we got hungry enough, we'd all try something delicious. I'd probably look for the mushrooms on the trees and find a stick and grill them somehow. But I think it's fabulous, the work you're doing. So thank you for creating your own wilderness camp and empowering women to learn that they have strength from within. That is what the podcast is really ultimately about. We all have strength within, and we can definitely absolutely grow and become stronger. So thank you so much.
Thank you for all the work you've done.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to share lastly with our listeners?
I don't think so. I just want to thank you for having me and thank you for all the work you've done for survivors over the years.
Absolutely. Well, we will make sure we put how to find Gretchen's Wilderness Camp on on our podcast episode release. And again, for all our listeners, thank you for continuing to listen into the Dear Katie podcast. Remember that self-care is so important. We just opened the Dear Katie shop. Our collective is open and ready for you to look for things that might just treat yourself, um, heal through your smells, your touches, your eyes, your ears. We're trying to figure out all the most creative and helpful ways to heal and grow together. So you're never alone, and self-care is so critical. Don't forget the hotline that we have, the 1567 Shatter, for anyone you know who needs legal advice, support in navigating their harassment case, their abuse case. Please don't hesitate to also join an event, start a chapter. If you don't belong to one already, there are many, many forming. So again, thank you so much, Gretchen, for joining us, and to our listeners, continue to listen and follow and join us. We welcome you for sure. Take care. Thank you again, everybody, for joining another episode of the Dear Katie podcast. I hope very much you found today's episode helpful, empowering, and a way to take another step in that long journey toward healing and supporting those we care about, learning about sexual violence prevention, and also survivor support. For those of you who don't know, again, the Take Back the Night website has tons of great resources, books, self-care options, cool merch. If you're feeling like you need a wearable, we have great t-shirts. Of course, we would love it if you follow along on our free newsletter with news and events going on around the country and even around the globe. And finally, don't forget to like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You'll find our entire community popping up here and there, and recaps of our podcast episodes as well. So together we shatter the silence, and together we end the violence. Take care.